Alright, I just finished Atomfall. Took me like 11 hours to do so, and I haven't been this obsessed with a game since probably Space Marine 2 or Black Myth Wukong. I have 3 kids, and it's very hard when a game could just grab me and I lose sleep over it, but this was one of them that did that. Not only is this game fantastic, but it also serves as a wake-up call to the industry, a point I'll delve into later in the video. It's developed by Rebellion, a developer known for their Sniper Elite and Zombie Army series, and now Atomfall, a new survival thriller set in a radioactive British countryside. And yeah, it's technically like Fallout meets Stalker, but with this weird cozy 1960s vibe, which I'm all about. And it does enough to really set it apart from those two franchises. I'm already a bit biased, as I do really enjoy the 60s atmosphere with things like music from The Temptations or Simon and Garfunkel, and it's been a while since I've played BioShock, but I always enjoyed the atmosphere in that game too. I'm all about retrofuturism. So after seeing all of that, I was absolutely ready to jump into the Lake District, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Also, I won't get into any major spoilers in this video. Everything you will see on screen is from a pretty early quest that I really enjoyed, where I got to explore a castle and fight one of the factions in the game known as the Druids. We will get more into the narrative in terms of how much I appreciate it and understand some of the criticisms about it, and also touch on the level design, which kept giving me this awe feeling that I only got when I played the Resident Evil 2 remake, so more on that later. So what exactly is Atomfall? And if you already know, feel free to jump forward to the next chapter of this video. But the game is a mix of survival, action, and a little bit of weirdness. Set in the British countryside after a nuclear disaster, it's actually inspired by a real-life event, the Windscale nuclear disaster, which happened in the 50s, making it one of the first nuclear disasters, but I'll leave that history lesson to someone else. The game takes that idea though and cranks up the mystery with cults, rogue government agents, and all sorts of eerie folk horror vibes. You're dropped into this quarantine zone, and your job is to not only survive, but to figure out what's going on and to escape. You'll be scavenging for supplies, crafting gear, bartering with whoever's still sane, and when it comes down to it, fighting for your life. It's not just about shooting everything in sight though, ammo is scarce, so you'll have to make every bullet count. If you run out, well, there's the good old melee weapon to get the job done. Now there are 5 difficulty options, of which I selected the recommended one, Survivor. Rebellion describes this as the classic Atomfall experience with a good balance between combat and survival. And to be honest, it was very well balanced. I had to use multiple weapons as ammo depleted in the others, and also had to be careful as bandages and first aid were scarce to come by. The world itself is what really sets this game apart though. It's got that classic picturesque British countryside, rolling green hills, cozy villages, but something's definitely off. Between the cult-controlled ruins, abandoned bunkers, and strange supernatural elements, it's got this unsettling Cold War era paranoia mixed with folk horror. And the story, that's completely up to you. It's a player-driven mystery, meaning you'll piece things together by exploring, talking to other survivors, or whatever's left of them, and making choices that actually matter. That may be a turnoff for some of you, and it is one of the criticisms I see about the game, but I really enjoyed and appreciated that the developers left the story in your hands. I really did get that feeling that I was in control and my actions or inactions mattered. There's no character or NPC with plot armor, so do with that info what you will. Always in a game like this, and I did this not too long ago when playing Fallout New Vegas, I try to roleplay as best I can for the character I am playing. And I really enjoy doing that, and that's one of the main reasons why I really enjoyed both of these games. I'm not playing it as Sean, but as this new character I've created in my head. Now, you can certainly play this game and make decisions as you would if you were physically there, and I do that from time to time in other games, but Atomfall really allows you to play however you want, which is awesome. If you're into games with eerie atmospheres, survival mechanics, and a good mystery to unravel, you'd probably very much enjoy this game, and we will get more into the gameplay mechanics and skills here in a bit. Atomfall is also turning out to be a pretty big deal for Rebellion. The game dropped on March 27, 2025. In just a short time, it's already pulled in over 1.5 million players. That makes it the biggest launch in Rebellion's 32-year history, which is kind of wild when you think about it, how long they've been making games. The CEO, Jason Kingsley, is obviously thrilled, saying the success proves that taking risks on something different can really pay off. And he's got a point. Rebellion is one of those studios that doesn't chase massive bloated projects. Instead, they keep things focused, making sure the game is tight, polished, and doesn't spiral out of control with unnecessary features. That philosophy really shows in Atomfall. A lot of people have compared it to Fallout and Stalker, but it's more compact, more to the point. There's also no 1,000 planets to explore marketing gimmick. It just focuses on being a solid survival action experience. Now, while the concurrent player numbers on Steam haven't been massive, around 6,000 all-time peak, the real kicker here is Game Pass. A ton of those 1.5 million players probably jumped in because it was right there in their subscription, me being one of them, which is a huge advantage for a game like this. People are way more likely to give it a shot when there's no upfront cost beyond what they're already paying. And I've seen the complaints about the length of the game and it being $50, but after what Nintendo just did and them raising some of their games to $80 and $90, we can't really sit here and be upset with Rebellion. There's already a story expansion in the works called Wicked Isle, no release date yet, but it's going to bring in new locations, enemies, characters, and gameplay features. So if you've been enjoying Atomfall, there's more on the way, and I'll be following the game pretty closely, so feel free to subscribe to hear more on the DLC in the future. So Rebellion took a gamble on something a little different, and it's paying off. So hats off to Jason Kingsley and the team over there. One of the biggest reasons why Atomfall has resonated with so many players is because they actually listen. The CEO has openly talked about the importance of player feedback. He actually reads YouTube comments, digs through discussions, and genuinely tries to understand what players want. That alone sets Rebellion apart from a lot of modern AAA studios, where it often feels like executives and developers exist in an echo chamber completely disconnected from the people who actually play their games. Kingsley and his brother, who co-own Rebellion, are also gamers themselves. They don't just make games for market trends or investor pitches, they make games they would want to play. And that passion bleeds into Atomfall, a game that, while not the biggest or most technically groundbreaking, feels handcrafted and intentional. Qualities that have become rare in an industry obsessed with chasing live service trends and bloated open world checklists. Compare this to the state of many AAA releases today. So many studios seem terrified of player feedback, especially the negative kind. They avoid it, dismiss it, or worse, attack the audience for not getting on board with their vision. This results in games that feel designed by committee, stuffed with half-baked mechanics and unnecessary monetization because executives think they know better than the actual people playing their game. The industry is filled with examples of this. Disastrous launches like Concord, Redfall, or Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where the cracks in development were obvious long before the release, yet ignored because of egos and stubbornness. Meanwhile, Atomfall keeps things focused and simple. No forced live service elements, no exhausting monetization schemes, no massive empty open worlds that only serve the purpose to pad out playtime. It's just a solid, well-made game that respects the player's time and intelligence, and it's a hit because of it. This should be a wake-up call to the industry. Players don't need a game to be the biggest or the most expensive. They just want something made with passion, care, and actual respect from their experience. If more studios followed Rebellion's example, we'd probably see fewer games crash and burn under the weight of their own misguided ambition. I do think the games industry is finally evolving and understanding this though. Probably the biggest reason why I couldn't put this game down was the level design. I haven't seen levels designed this tight and polished since, well, probably Resident Evil 2's police station. Every village, bunker, and cult hideout feels handcrafted and serves a purpose. You're constantly finding shortcuts, hidden stashes, or environmental clues that make the world feel alive. And quick tip, when you see the metal detector, definitely barter for it. It'll be worth it, trust me. Now, Atomfall isn't some massive open world where you can just run off in any direction. It's more of a semi-open, interconnected environment, bigger than something like RE2 Remake, but with a similar philosophy in how it builds tension and guides the player. Instead of wide, empty spaces, you get tightly crafted areas that encourage exploration without overwhelming you. Those that know me know I'm not the biggest fan of open world games. Not because they aren't impressive, but I just don't really have the time for them. That's why I really appreciate these smaller, more focused experiences. They fit my pace a lot better. I still respect how ambitious open world games can be, but as a father and an ever-growing backlog of games, I've been gravitating toward games that don't demand hundreds of hours to enjoy. Anyways, I digress. Think about how RE2 Remake handles the RPD building. It's not just about moving forward, it's about backtracking, unlocking new areas, and slowly piecing together the environment as you gain new tools. Atomfall does something similar, but with a more open-ended approach, and it always feels like there's something just around the corner, whether that's a hidden cache of supplies or something much worse. Both games also use environmental storytelling really well. In RE2 Remake, you learn about the station's downfall through bloodstained notes, barricaded doors, and well, a whole lot of dead cops. Atomfall takes the same idea, but filters it through Cold War paranoia and folk horror. You'll find abandoned homes with half-eaten meals still on the table, notes from survivors losing their grip on reality, and weird ritual sites that hint at something even more unsettling than just radiation poisoning. Combat-wise, RE2 Remake makes every bullet count, forcing you to think before engaging, and Atomfall does the same. You're never drowning in ammo, so you've got to decide whether to fight or sneak past threats. And if things get up close and personal, both games make melee combat feel desperate, whether that's a last-second knife slash in RE2 or swinging a cricket bat for dear life in Atomfall. The biggest difference? RE2 Remake is all about claustrophobic horror. You're stuck in tight hallways, listening for the sound of Mr. X's boots thudding behind you. Atomfall gives you a bit more breathing room, but it never lets you feel safe. So while Atomfall isn't as linear as RE2 Remake, it shares that same sense of deliberate design, where every corner, every locked door, every shadowy path serves a purpose. If you like the way RE2 Remake keeps you on edge with its level design, Atomfall will definitely scratch that same itch, just with a bit more open-ended exploration and a whole lot more British weirdness. But anyways, let's get into the combat and gameplay. It's been quite the ride, and I have some thoughts. The game offers a variety of weapons, from bows and bolt-action rifles to maces, and you can carry up to 4 large weapons. Those large weapons being what I just said, or shotguns and cricket bats. And a bunch of smaller items can be held in your main inventory, including consumables, pistols, and throwables. Personally, I went full berserker, mace to the face, bolt action rifle for range, and a bow for silent takedowns. The combat is a bit janky and probably my biggest criticism of the game, but it is fun, and the hit feedback was really good in this game. Managing your inventory is pretty straightforward. However, when you do go to interact and like use a consumable or equip another item, the game doesn't pause. So if you're in the middle of a fight, you're gonna get attacked while you're trying to grab some stuff, which could be frustrating, but honestly, it does add to that immersion, and you should probably be in a safe spot if you're gonna go digging through your bag. The skill system complements your playstyle, but you'll need to find training stimulants around the world to serve as your skill points, and hidden manuals that unlock other skills. It's a straightforward skill system, which I appreciate. Instead of the traditional stamina meter, Atomfall uses a heart rate monitor. As you perform intensive actions like firing a weapon, being hit by an enemy, jumping up a ledge, or sprinting, your heart rate rises. As it starts to max out, your character's vision will dim and your reactions will slow. It's a unique system, it adds a layer of strategy to your movements, and I enjoyed it a lot. Stealth is somewhat viable, however, I never really went with it. It was another criticism I had for this game. One reason why stealth felt pretty bad was the AI was just a little finicky, with enemies sometimes spotting me through trees and rocks, so I tried to be stealthy with the bow as much as I could, but when I did get caught, I used the bolt action or shotgun. Crafting materials are plentiful, so don't be afraid to use your grenades and throwables on large groups of enemies. Plus, it's always fun to blow things up. And there's no fast travel in Atomfall. I've seen complaints about this, but the map's so well connected with sewers, mountain paths, and other shortcuts that I never missed it. If they expand later, sure, add it in, but here it forces you to learn the world, and I enjoyed my time in that world, so I didn't mind. The game also isn't eat or die hardcore, just enough tension to make scavenging feel rewarding. It's a balance that keeps you engaged without feeling overwhelmed. It's also my least favorite thing to do in a survival game like this. I really just hate having a hunger meter and having to worry about that or I'll die. It just seems like a massive chore to me, and it's not that fun, so I'm glad that they went with this approach. Overall, the gameplay delivers a survival experience that's both challenging and rewarding. While it has its quirks, the combination of combat, exploration, and resource management creates an engaging journey through a uniquely British post-apocalyptic landscape. It's the perfect length as well, or at least for me. 10 to 20 brilliantly polished hours, no bloat. I'm usually burned out on open world games, but Atomfall left me wanting more, and I am super excited for the DLC. So again, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more need to play reviews like this one or additional Atomfall updates that excite me. I don't review every game I play, but the ones that really get a hold of me, I like to put my thoughts out there, and I love hearing others' experiences with the game, so please share yours in the comments. Let's just say, for my first experience in Atomfall, when the phone rang, I answered. So if you love exploring every inch of a world, survival-lite tension without tedious micromanagement, and The Wicker Man, then definitely go check this game out. Atomfall was fantastic. I really enjoyed my time in that world, and I look forward to coming back when Rebellion can take my money for the DLC. If you didn't enjoy it, please let me know in the comments why not. And as always, take excellent care of yourselves, call someone you love, and goodbye!